My first bugbear is Karens. Okay. Now, I want to explain what a Karen is because, there's going to be people listening to this going, you don't like people with the name Karen. That's obviously not what the case is at all. Um, so there's an article from the New York Post, and it talks about stereotypes, and the stereotype, I suppose, of the Karen is it's been co-opted to call out many, and this is inverted commas, white lady with a bone to pick socio-cultural faux pas online. Think calling the police to shut down a kid's lemonade stand because they don't have a permit, spurring slangy put downs like calm down Karen. Okay. Um, there was one recently. I say recently, it's probably not recently. I don't know how old this article is. There's an infamous Karen of late called Amy Cooper, a white woman who called the police on Blackbird or Christian Cooper when the two ended up at odds in the ramble at Central Park while she was walking her dog. She pulled the pin on the race grenade. She told the authorities that the African American man is threatening my life. That didn't happen, but of course, the fact that if you were to use that whilst calling the police, the idea is, as the things go around in news cycles, that the police have been or shooting black people or killing black people. This was around the time of George Floyd. Sorry. So that's the kind of, if you call the police and tell them that, imagine what could happen to that person. That if the police pull up and think that he's doing something now. There's a certain look that a Karen is said to have. Now, I can only show this obviously to the people watching, but I've got a picture on my phone, and this was a Halloween costume from 2019 that someone used as an example of a Karen. So you can see there she has got coffee cup in hand, big sunglasses. Her hair is dark but has highlights in it. She's wearing a chain, like those key chains to get you into an office or a factory building, and a mobile phone in the hand. The mobile phone is essential. So they another person I heard describe them as some people who complain about everything for nothing. So there's like you will, if you go online, I don't know what, like I watch these as my bad habit. Like I bite my nails, that's my bad habit. Some people smoke cigarettes, and we all have bad habits. My bad habits is going onto YouTube and seeing these Karen videos and watching them and kind of going, oh, you earned it. There's so many I can give you. I won't be able to tell you them all, but these Karens in the Wild is one of the channels that I watch. There tend to be airports, drive-throughs, supermarkets are the main kind of places that Karens seem to hang out so they can give out. There's more than that, but they seem to be the main ones. I saw one recently where there was a woman, she got out of her car and she was at a drive-through. People get so angry at drive-throughs. And by the way, the male Karen is either called, they haven't seemed to kind of settle on her name yet. So some people call them Darren, some people call them Kevins. But there's this woman, she pulled up and she was hammering on the glass of a drive-through hatch, and roaring like, give me my drink, give me my drink. And she said at one point, my child is choking, give me my drink. For the next minute and a half, she continued to hammer on the thing. If her child was choking, what was she doing? Why isn't she in helping the child in the car? Yeah. Anyway, that's just logic. Logic doesn't really exist in the Karen's orbit, though. That's kind of part of the problem. I did see a Darren or a Kevin at the same thing, banging on a drive-through window, and he said that for the last 3 times I came here, my order was wrong. I'm sorry, but why are you still going back there if your order was wrong? There's no reason for you to be there. They always have their phones. It's really, there's no self-awareness. Sometimes they post the videos. Sometimes it's onlookers going, oh, look, here's a Karen. But the ones that post the video and put them online, there's no self-awareness to the fact that they were in the wrong. There was a woman who parked her car, got out of her car. There was a parking space next to her car and stood in the parking space and wouldn't let the other person get in because they were holding it for a friend. She put that online when the other person decided, no, I'm not having that. I'm going into that parking space. You can't stand in the parking space and hold it for someone. She put a line and said, I don't think I'm wrong. Does anybody think I'm wrong? This kind of lack of self-awareness, such self-importance. The Karens, not all the Karens, obviously, but they tend to slip into racism. It's like if you're losing an argument or something, and you've played all your cards, and the person you're arguing with is just not biting, and they're nonplussed about the whole situation, and you then pull out the race card because it's the last thing you can do to really get a reaction from someone. And it's getting worse. The Karen, there has been a pandemic worldwide, and not just like a COVID one. It's certainly been a Karen pandemic. They are using this idea of masks now as the reason to complain. And if there's a policy in the store, they bitch and moan about the fact that I've a medical exemption, but they don't have anything to show that they have a medical exemption, because they could possibly have one. That's not my problem. They could have medical exemption. The problem is you have to show you have medical exemption. And it's amazing that all the Karens seem to have some sort of a medical problem. They can't wear masks because of it, but yet they're, asthmatic or something, and they're going crazy and getting really heated up and arguing with. And I feel so bad because it's always like the jobs that people are probably having to scrimp and save to get their rent sorted and get their electricity paid and all, and then they have to go into these jobs like a drive-through in somewhere in the States, and they have to put up with all that nonsense. It's not, by the way, it's not just an American problem, it's a problem worldwide. I've seen some Irish Karens online. They're interesting, but yeah, Karens in general are just, and I feel bad. And I text someone I know called Karen the other day to say, listen, I'm not including you in this, but they understood. They just, as they said, it's been a hard few years for the name. And I don't know why the Karen, like it, I did try to see why they picked Karen as the name for this type of person, and I couldn't. I've yet to have an actual interaction with a Karen, and thankfully, and I hope I never do. And we never know how any of us will react, but it's growing all the time, and they'll always find something to complain about. But yeah, keep an eye out for Karens. If you don't know what a Karen is, have a look up, go online, have a look at a few Karens, and realize that there is a lot of stupidity and lack of awareness, self-awareness involved.